This is cold. Don't be frank. Don't be scared.
The Treasurer knows the rule on crops.
By 1990, no Australian child will be living in poverty.
Well, may we say God save the Queen, because nothing will save the government again.
Mate, because I want to do you slowly.
I believe we are in danger of being swamped by Asians.
But we will decide who comes to this country and the circumstances in which they come.
People are entitled to their sexual proclivities.
I will not be lectured about sexism and misogyny by this man. I will not.
The Australian public does not want to see this place descend into a political course.
Welcome to The Take. Hi, I'm Tish and this is The Take. Today I am going to be talking about Graham Platner. Now, I've been working on a video for around about a week, and it was getting too long because I've been working on it for a week, friends, I need to record this. Because I've been working on this for a week, there's been new things breaking every day. And also, I've been running into more leftists who are defending this man. So I'm going to break it into two parts. The first part is going to be about why Graham Platner is a shit choice to be a senator for the Democrats. Okay? The Democrats suck. They are controlled opposition. They are not serious. They are beholden to Israel and their donors. And they don't like everything that's happening. They wanted to do, but they don't want to be the bad guys, right? Can't be the bad guys. We're the good guys. Anyway, the second half of it is going to be about the leftists who are supporting him. Now, they are pretty much all American, one Canadian that I've noticed, and Mehdi Hassan, who is English and American, like he's got dual citizenship. But the things they are saying about Graham Platner is what I'm going to be looking at. There's also a video that I'm going to react to from the Majority Report of somebody talking about, if you knew that it was a Totenkopf, then you must be a Nazi. Hey, Adolf. And to that I say, speak to my pile of Nazi books. And I have to tell you, this is not all of them, okay? This is not all of them. This is just a few. It's heavy enough, bigger than my head, nice. Do I know and have opinions about Nazis? Yes, I do. That's why I'm making this video, because I don't think that people should trust this man. Now, me, hello. Have you noticed? I am Australian. Yes. Welcome. And you're like, who does this person think she is? Like, telling us about this guy. And also, why don't you shut up? It's just a silly little Senate race in fucking Maine, right? Why do you care? I care because, unfortunately, America has an influence on our everyday life. I don't like it, but that's what happens in Australia. Our Prime Minister recently was with dickhead Trump, and he was like, look at me. Like, embarrassing. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of like a butterfly effect. We are affected by your politics and your democracy. American democracy does my head in. It doesn't seem like it's democracy. Gerrymandering, the electoral college, the executive branch can just bring on whoever they like. It doesn't seem very fair. And non-compulsory voting, right? We have compulsory voting in Australia, so it is a true representation of what the people want. Also the amount of money, obviously. So Graham Platner, let's start with this man. He is running for Senate in Maine, and you would be right in thinking, oh, look at this guy. He's just turned up out of nowhere. Oh, look at him. Seems like he's the perfect candidate, right? Seems like he is saying all these things that I have wanted to hear from a candidate. What a coincidence! Is it a coincidence though? Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. So, the man is 41, so he's a little younger than me. But when, like, as far as the trends and ideas and things like that, Australia's a couple of years behind America. So, because I had a friend, and even in the rural towns, we're about another year behind. Because I had a friend at work who was a couple of years younger than me, and we both had really similar tastes in music and things like that, because the trends took a little bit longer to get to the rural places, and she lived in the city. So, and it's the same with America. They take off there and they arrive here a couple of years later. It's probably quicker now with the internet though. This is back in the day. So, I started teaching in the year that the towers fell, and to me, I thought, oh well, the world is going to end. We're just sitting out, like, I went to school like normal. Everything was just a little bit surreal, to say the least. And in the afternoon, we played bocce. I was the bocce supervisor, and I'm just sitting on our school oval, just waiting for, I don't know, the world to end, because I just thought it was such a big thing. Cut to 3 years later, and that's when they had finally gotten the go-ahead to invade Iraq, 2003. And I remember watching the original raids on television, and I was on a camp, so yeah, I don't know if there's a different name for America, but you know, like for a school event, and everybody goes to the camp, and you know, they stay a couple of nights for whatever reason. That one was a good one though too, because it started around the end of, in Lent. It started during Lent, and I was working at a Catholic school at the time, and it was Friday, and the teachers didn't realise, and they had bacon for breakfast. So that was hilarious to me as a non-Catholic. Anyway, you're not supposed to eat meat on Friday. Sorry, that's why it was funny to me. Yeah, so I was watching the invasion, and that's when it really solidified for me. Like, I'm anti-war. I'm anti-war. I do not like this. I do not want it to happen. I do not think this is a just war. And also, why are they invading that city, that country, when it was the Saudis who did it? Or Saudis or someone else. Could have been someone else in that area, which is now part of the conspiracy of 9/11, but yeah, like, why are you doing that? And so I didn't quit my job as a teacher and then join the military, because I'm like, well, I've got to support the troops. And I definitely could feel my leftism sort of build from there. You know, Australia isn't a big gun culture. It's pretty, and unions are still pretty functional. I, you know, and I'm a union rep. So look, my leftism, I've gotten more left as I've gotten older, and I've just started watching another channel called Socialism for All, and I think I'm probably going to be more radical as I go, because capitalism is a death cult as well, or as MAGA. And you know, like, I do anti-MLM content, and it is based on like the very worst of capitalism. You know, you're exploiting people for money, and it's dog eat dog, and yeah, it's the final boss of capitalism. And we've got all this overconsumption, and yeah, so I think I'm just getting more and more left. And that's the story that Graham Platner is trying to tell, okay? And that's the story that people who support him are trying to tell. And these are people who have their supposed progressive bona fides in fighting the Iraq War. And I'm specifically talking about Sam Cedar, Ryan Grimm, and Francesca Fiorentini, because these people were around during that time, moving on to Occupy, onto BLM, and you know where we are at the moment with No Kings and fighting Trump. So the fact that these people are now looking at the walking contradiction of all of those fucking values is breaking my brain, okay? I don't understand how they can be defending this man who has an atrocious background and is just at heart an establishment Democrat. And I wouldn't even be surprised if in the future we find out that there's collusion about this Janet Mills versus fucking Graham Platner, and just really stoking the fire of that and letting out all this, because now we can say, hey, if this came out after he was elected, then it'd be like, we feel like we are have been tricked, like Fetterman, and now no one can say you didn't know this. If he gets elected and he fucks you over, which he will, you're going to go, everybody else is going to go, well, you can't complain. We knew all this before. This is your fault. You did this. So it's interesting. And like I said, I'm going to go into more depth with what they're saying in my part 2. But now we are going to explore who is Graham Platner? Who is this guy? What's his deal? I tell you what his deal is. He's a fake. In my opinion, he's an absolute plant. He has been, he's been in those circles because he was in the military for a long time. And he also worked and went to school in DC. So, of course he has met somebody who might think that he's a good option to run for some sort of office. And it's not a factor of, well, you know, he's got all these Reddit posts and you know, like, do you think it's that manipulated and that conniving that they've been planning this for 20 years and he's got 20 years of posts that are prove that this, and this. And it's like, no, I don't think that's the assumption. It's that he already had the post and the people looked into him to say, yeah, that's our guy. Because his parents were Democrats and fundraised for Democrats and represented them in different ways. Okay? Today the revelation came out. He's got a stepbrother who works with the IDF. Like, I can't even think of what else would come out. If this was a TV show and they were like, this is about, a plant in a political race. If you did all of what we know about Graham Platner, people would tell you that it was on the nose. Like, are you sure you want to do that? It's kind of obvious. It's a bit too over the top. I don't think that's realistic. But that's Graham Platner's fucking thing. It's bizarre. Okay, so hang on. So what happened is that he entered the race, he did the rounds, and everybody was like, oh, I really like him, he's great. He's on the Fight Oligarchy tour almost immediately and being on stage with Bernie and AOC. How did this happen? Again, plucked out of obscurity. A lot of people thought, okay, he's a veteran. Clearly he's got some ideas about that and he feels really remorseful about it. Then, he's a farmer, so working class guy. He wants Medicare for all and to end the genocide, and he hates billionaires. So it's just like, what a match made in heaven for us. It's almost like this is what we said we wanted. People were listening and they brought you Graham Platner. It's almost like that, right? Yep. So there is so there was a really great email X account. It is called Big Dumb Buffoon, and the username is Idiot Esoteric Anti-Warden. So big ups to them and my boy, my fellow Australian, let's call it out together, brother, Bad Empanada. Now, people might not like how Bad Empanada calls things out because he does not soften the blow. He has no patience for you, for your fuckery. He just says, what is the problem? So he has been calling out Graham Platner for a couple of months, and at first I didn't want to believe it. I was like, oh, maybe he's wrong this time, because he's not usually wrong about people. He's got pretty good instincts for it. And so I was just fooling myself. Yeah, maybe he's wrong this time. This time might be the time that he's wrong. He wasn't. So interesting. I finally watched the video and I'm like, okay, he's a fucking dickhead. I need to make a video now. So we're the only ones calling it out. Maybe a few other people here and there. But Bad Empanada's definitely got a bigger platform than me. But I don't care. I'm calling it out. There was a protest for Palestine today, but I didn't go. I was streaming with my besties, so I wanted to stream with them. It had been a while since I saw them, and yeah, I was not feeling my social battery on the weekends because work is so demanding. The weekends are my recharge, so I just couldn't do it this weekend. And I saw my mum. We went to dinner. It was nice. Thanks for asking. In one of the many recordings that I have done of this video, I have said, I read through Platner's platform and I said, my goodness, it's almost as if Sam Cedar wrote this himself. Having been a Majority Report listener for over 2 years, I was like, wow, especially on Social Security, because that is something that Sam Cedar really cares about and will go on and on about. And so the fact that the platform lists so many things that are mentioned on Majority Report, I thought was just on the nose. It's like they've listened to them and they know that Chuck Schumer's people watches the Majority Report. So why wouldn't other Democrat people watch it, right? And glean what they can to what they want to make this candidate to be. I mean, of course. Like, of course. First of all, +8, word bank. These are the positive ones. Biofact, a veteran, working class or middle class. Doing okay, blue collar worker, small business owner, moderate, professor, farmer, blah, blah, blah. The worst is a socialist. Oh, I suppose, yeah. A socialist and a billionaire and a podcaster. Okay, their record are guided by their commitment to science, evidence, and facts, yeah. Believe it is important to find common ground, yes. Have created jobs in the private sector. Has a strong record of bipartisanship. Believes in speaking directly, even if it offends some people. Oh, yeah. Are committed to protecting and improving existing institutions like the military. Knows how to win non-democratic voters. The worst ones are served in the Biden administration, have been targeted by the Trump administration, have changed their mind on important issues. Oh, like that getting a Totenkopf is a bad idea. All right, and the last lane is issue focus. Protecting social security and Medicare. Ding, 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 ding. Bringing down the price of food, goods and services, making healthcare and prescription drugs more affordable. Ding, ding, ding. Housing. Fighting corruption in politics. Reducing the federal deficit and the debt. Implementing universal health care. So I said this on my last one, but I said if you fed this into like a ChatGPT one, like create me a politician, ChatGPT, I said Graham Platner would pop out. Just based on his Reddit posts, his current, what he's saying, and his platform on his website. The ones that are bad for a Democratic runner is advocating for Palestine and protecting the rights of LGBTQIA plus community. And that's so funny that advocating for Palestine and Israel are bad, because yep. The blueprint. This Democrat is a veteran that is guided by their commitment to science, evidence, and facts, believing it's important to find common ground. They are running on protecting Social Security and Medicare, bringing down the price of foods, goods, and services. That is Graham Platner. So much. So here's background. A lot of people are saying, well, he's a veteran who, recognizes the era of serving in the American army, in an imperialist army. And, just how important it was that we don't fight wars for no reason. we don't want to fight any pointless wars, right? And he also, he's a veteran, he's working class hero. He's just a farmer, oyster farmer. He's a working class hero. And, you know, yeah, he's a bit of a loose cannon. He's got a bit of a few terrible tattoos, cringy tattoos, and he's you know, shit posted on the internet. But otherwise, he's fucking great, right? All of that is a pile of shit. The man is none of those things. He did serve in the military, and people are starting to question his timeline now, because even when he told it before, to me, I'm like, it seems like there's just a little bit of room on the end of each of his tours. And speaking of which, he did 4 tours to Iraq and or Afghanistan. I don't know if it's one or the other. So he did 4 tours, and then he was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go try and get a degree with the GI Bill. And he was living in Washington DC at the time, and he went to George Washington College or University, I can't remember. And he was working as a bartender. You know, that is working class. That is very the AOC story. But he went on 4 tours. He went away 4 times. Well, he went away twice. He then got discharged, which is when he was working at the actual... My brain just went... so he went and did college for a little bit, and then he was like, oh, you know what? I want to go back. I want to go back to war. And he was previously in the Marine Corps, but he went back the second time when he re-enlisted. So he didn't just go on 4 tours. The man was discharged and went back and re-enlisted. And so he did 2 more tours, and then came back to America, and he was like, you know what? I think I want to do 5, but I'm not going to do it in the military, the American military this time. I'm going to do it with the worst company in the world, Blackwater. And so he was at a Blackwater mercenary for, they say 6 months, but again, the timeline isn't working. So Blackwater is no longer around in its form like that. It is now called Constellus. It is not just a little mini arm of whatever. Blackwater was the biggest company of contractors who was doing contracting work in Iraq and maybe Afghanistan as well. And they all, like, as the war sort of like wound down, they didn't need as many contracting companies, so they, you know, merged into one, which is Constellus. But the problems didn't go away. So when on one of his military service tours, he was a guard at Abu Ghraib. The Abu Ghraib where it was a torture camp, and they took pictures and they got out. He was a camp guard there, and he had to face gunfire because people were trying to break their people out of Abu Ghraib, which, in my opinion, is just fine, because you kidnapped them. You're not going to give them a, you know, fair trial or whatever. It was... So, the man also... So that's his... People want to say, oh, but, like, you know, his words are this, this, and this. Yeah, but his actions, to me, are quite important. His actions suggest that he's a neocon. He's a war hawk. He loves it. He didn't just go once and go, oh, this is fucked up, I'm out of here. No, he went back 5 fucking times. This man enjoys war, and he has said as much on his Reddit. So the next statement to disprove, he's working class. This man is not working class. Just because he has a beard and he's a farmer doesn't mean he's your downtime country jamboree guy. Does that make sense? Yeah, he's not working class. It's just a fact. His grandfather was a renowned architect working on buildings in New York and around New York. He's done a little bit of work. So the grandfather was, well known and well paid for the time. His dad is a lawyer with his own law firm, and his mother is a restaurant owner. Now, they're not just high class, they're also Democrat stooges. How do we know? Because we've got some Twitter things. So, in Bangor, Maine, Bangor, I don't know how to say it. Is it a hard G? By the way, my chair keeps shrinking, so if I seemed like I was up higher before, I probably was. But my chair hydraulic is not working. So this is from November 4, 1982, the Bangor Daily News. In state context, Republican incumbent Thomas Perkins of Blue Hill easily won over his Democratic opponent, Bronson Platner. That's his father, yes, his name is Bronson, of Marlville, in the contest for state senate in District 28. The district covers most of Hancock County, plus the towns of Allahoot and Clifton. In that contest, the ratio was greater than 2-1, with Perkins drawing 10,458 people to Platner's 4,675. So he ran for some sort of representative. Then we have the wife, all right, Leslie Harlow. That's Graham's mother. On February 3rd, 2004, this person said, Democratic caucuses, Franklin and Sullivan Joint Caucus, 2 p.m. Franklin Community Center. For information, call Irene Oberman or Leslie Harlow. So this is the Bangor Daily News, and it's about, I can't remember what it's about. Maine is considered one of the 70. Oh, it's about the election, right? So it's about the presidential election with Bush Jr. Maine delegate Leslie Harlow's hometown of Sullivan lies within that wholly contested district where Bush lost by less than 2% of more than 300,000 votes counted. In her tiny Hancock County, Bush bested Democrat Al Gore by just 26 votes. That's a razor sharp. Harlow said she was confident her training at the National Convention, her first, would help her turn those numbers around. Yep, so there you go. Another link to Maine. And here's Leslie Harlow of Sullivan, Maine. Photographs Hennepin County, Minnesota prosecutor Amy Klobuchar as she speaks Wednesday at the Fleet Center in Boston on the Democratic National Convention. Leaning further and further toward Platner being a pseudo-anti-establishment Democrat. Both of his parents have been directly involved with the party for several decades. Yep, that comes from Big Dumb Buffoon. Democrats plan holiday potluck. Oh, this is 1983 as well. Jeez. Ellsworth, the Hancock County Democrat Committee will sponsor a holiday party with a potluck covered dish supper at 6 p.m. Saturday, December 10, the home of Leslie and Bronson Platner. They are so involved. It's so interesting. These people are the establishment. They are owners. They are business owners. They are private company owners. You know? Like this, they're the bourgeoisie. And any leftist who is saying things ambivalent, like, do you truly want a working party? Yeah, we do. That's why we don't want Graham Platner, right? Yeah, so that is his personal life. Oh, well, the tattoo. All right, let's have a look at the tattoo. Let's talk about Graham Platner's tattoo. Tattoo, or tattoo, if you would like to say it like that, which I don't. When I first saw it, I thought it was a Totenkopf. And my stomach kind of dropped because at that point in time I wasn't supporting him, but I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, which he does not fucking deserve. I hope this video proves that. But yeah, I was still just putting my head in the sand going, no, I'm sure he's good. Like, come on. That couldn't be John Fetterman the second, could there? This isn't even John Fetterman the second. This is worse. A fucking Nazi tattoo. And people have made a big deal about saying, well, it's not the most well-known one. And yeah, look, it's pretty old. He didn't even know what it was. Bullshit. Bullshit. He knew what it was. Just like I did. All right? And I haven't even been in the army. I don't know much about the military history side of stuff. Like, I'll often converse with young men about World War II because I really enjoy World War II history. And they will say, oh, me too, but they like the weapons and I like the politics of it and the theory and the how it all happened, the psychology. So it's a little different. I don't know the weapons, okay? And however, the symbol. We all know the symbols. Sis, you're lying. Lying. Okay. Genevieve McDonald said that Graham Platner knew full well that he had a Totenkopf. And yeah, let's take a look at the raw version of a Totenkopf. It is very clearly, scary skull. That's what Graham called. He said that's a scary skull. Ooh. Yeah. Why did you get that again? Were you on leave and you were wanted to celebrate being a murderer? Is that better? Leftists? I've been harassing people online. Zateo, come clean. Do you support Graham Platner? Ryan Grimm, Dropsite News. Are you still going to accept? Because there's some really good reporters at Dropsite. Jeremy Scahill. You're tarred with the same brush. Anyway, that's the next video. Then we've got it. You can see it in action on this young fellow looking very proud to be serving the Schutzstaffel, aka SS, and that little death's head on the cap, right? Yeah. So the story was, we just went to Croatia. We're on leave and we got a tattoo because it looks scary. Well, did Graham Platner know that it was a Totenkopf? Yeah, he knew. And we've got some proof that he knew what a Totenkopf was. So the man was a prolific Redditor. And to some people, they might think, well, sure, whatever. What does that even mean to be a prolific Redditor? It's kind of embarrassing. True. It is. However, as I have been embarrassing and been a Redditor, it has given me some insight into Graham Platner and his Reddit habits. So, like there's certain things that you know to do in Reddit. So if you edit your post, you put an ETA on the end. Um, or in this video, this picture has edit, adding that. Usually it's ETA, edit to add, or edit typo, whatever. Because I don't know, it's just how people do stuff on Reddit. Now, the other thing too is you don't generally jump into a thread that you haven't read like what's been written before you. And that's what this kind of proves. Yeah. So let's take a look at it. I think it was a photograph and it says battle weary SS. And it's still light out there. I don't know what subreddit this is from. It says War Relics EU Forum, non-combat. So it's something to do with war, at least. And the first comment says, just out of curiosity, how do you know they are SS? What gives them away? Is it the camo, the type of uniform they were wearing? And this person says, the top and cuff on the dude's first. On the dude first on the left is a good clue. And, oh my God, I lost my spot. Has literal skulls on uniforms. Ignore that we're the good guys. Ignore that. We're the good guys. And an edit, just so everyone is fully aware, it's a joke. Yeah, I got the joke. Thanks, Dragon's Fire. And again, one of the most memeable this isn't really early meme. So we know that Graham Platner is aware of the "Are we the baddies" meme. Are we the baddies meme? Both of those men were dressed in period clothing, including the death's head on the cap. Next one. Many soldiers still use the skull as an emblem. See the Punisher's skull for the SEALs or regiment emblems around the world. A way of making others fear them and all. Those are thoughtful. I also understand the reference, by the way. Not saying the SS were good guys. Don't get me wrong. We're dancing on the edge at the moment. It's fine. Next one. In Europe, I think the skull initially indicated the defiance of death, courage in the face of danger, not to scare people. It's a pretty menacing, picture. It's not a friendly skull. Like, I've got a skull just here. He's kind of cute. That's my matching tattoo with Gus, one of my besties. In Europe, oh yeah, courage in the face of death, not scared of, sorry. See the Punisher's skull for the SEALs. That's so cringeworthy. And then someone said it started with Chris Kyle and just kind of became a really dumb trope for a lot of service members and the sheepdog thing. Next one, I idolize this canonically unhinged and violent man. I didn't say it. He said it. Next, see the Punisher skull for the SEALs, and the person said, Punisher is kind of an unofficial emblem. It's more something some individuals do. I've seen more on Civi and Moto stuff than on actual servicemen. I know who's into the chat. It's P Hustle. P Hustle in there. His house. And this man knows how to read it. This is like he has read this entire thread to get to this point of view. When I was in Ramadi in '06 as a Marine grunt, the SEAL platoon we worked closely with for the deployment had all the Punisher skull spray painted on their armor carriers. There's no question it's far more prevalent on all the dumbass grunt style and 9 Lives shirts these days, but the teams definitely adopted it for a while. Thanks. I don't know the hell that is. But yeah, Graham Platner knows what a Tottenham cough is. The thing that his that Genevieve McDonald said. On her way out, McDonald issued several blistering attacks on Platner. National news media from CNN to the Wall Street Journal quoted her as stating, Graham has an anti-Semitic tattoo on his chest. He's not an idiot. He's a military history buff. Saying, we can see this painfully, we cannot be this painfully stupid, referring to her fellow Democrats. A week later, McDonald announced that she had refused to sign a non-disclosure agreement from Platner. The campaign offered me 15 grand. Oh, where'd you get that 15 grand from, Graham? Didn't think you were working class or anything, you know? Or you were. You are working class. Um, the campaign offered me 15 grand to sign an NDA, McDonald told Politico. I did not accept the offer. I certainly could have used the money. I quit my job to work on Platner's campaign, believing it was something different than it is. This is just like cloud clay. Yeah, so there you have it, people. Did Graham Platner know that he had a Nazi tattoo? Yeah, he did. Also, he apparently has 1919 on his sleeve, and that is SS. There's just so many dodgy things. I think we're moving on to the Reddit post now. So I'm watching back some of my earlier stuff, and I apologize for the drastic change in quality. I was trying out a different camera. It's better. Okay, so guess where we are, people? We are in to the Reddit posts. U.S. Army Special Forces utilize a variety of weapons during offensive operations against ISIS in Afghanistan. This is 2021. Also, oh, this is from combat footage. So this man here, he actually kept some of his combat footage. Or maybe he likes to watch it. I think he did keep some. I think I did read that somewhere. Yes, but I did multiple tours in Afghanistan. It was as much a failure of military leadership and lack of strategy as it was of our political leaders. And ISIS killed 13 of our people on the way out the door. So it's not like we won there either. So this is a man who is like, his view is that wars are fought to be won. I mean, I suppose that makes sense, but I would prefer to vote for somebody who's not talking about war like that. Just saying. All right. And his other comment here is, and we still lost. US now admits that a drone strike in Kabul killed 10 innocent people, and Graham has to say, we just wanted to make sure we ended the war on the same note as we fought it, with incompetence and avoidable civilian killings. 2021, he's very well aware of his words, the actions, the clarity in his thinking about the fighting. Because again, people keep on saying, oh, this man, doesn't he deserve redemption? Doesn't he deserve to heal and apologize to people? Blah 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, he does. Yeah, good for him. I hope he does do that, and I hope that he is able to contact, like, make amends for what he did. But guess what? I can't redeem him from that, and neither can anyone else in America except for his fucking victims. They're the only ones who can do that. And can he strive to do better? Yes. Can he do all that? He just doesn't have to be elected as a senator. Talk me out of joining again. And this is 2021. It's a blast. This your first event. And then there's a link which says long distance movements, often combined with orienteering, like long triathlons with land nav. Oh yeah, it kind of is like a triathlon. Good call, Graham. Except it's not. except it's a fucking war and it's an imperial, like, army operation where you're, doing the dirty work of America in countries with brown people that seem to be just fine with, you know, civilian deaths. Next one. Just get into long distance shooting, 3-gun adventure races, whatever. You'll have more fun anyways. That's real similar. Catholic charities to resettle up to 100 Afghans in May in new federal program. Now, I wanted to include stuff that could be considered boast. And this is one. Fuck yeah, he's happy about that. But the Catholic charities, like, I don't know, it's just a little bit weird to me that he's happy about that. Mm, so interesting. So interesting. Because we know that he has killed probably Afghans. But there were people who worked with the American army. They're probably the Afghans that he's talking about. He's not talking about ISIS. We want to kill those motherfuckers. Times investigation in US drone strikes. Evidence suggests no ISIS bomb. Well, at least we were consistent. Fucking joke of war. And I spent years of my life in it. So I don't see that as I'm remorse for fighting in the war. Like, it was wrong, it was anti-imperialist, all that sort of jazz. I see this as his whole point being, the war was pointless, so that's why it was bad. We didn't get anything out of it. We didn't win, etc. Like, he doesn't see it as being bad because of the loss of life or anything. He sees it as bad because, to the victor goes the spoils. So interesting. Last US military aircraft leaves Afghanistan. Good. Is this what we're supposed to say is him being based? Oh, see, he was anti-war. And this is what they point to. Just one fucking comment on August 31st, 2021. Thank you for your selfless service. Rest easy. Studs, fair wind, and follow seas. Gents, you were the best we had. The stupid goddamn war can't end soon enough. Okay. Are you buying it yet? Are you buying the... He's not a... He's anti-war? Sure. Kabul airport explosion kills 4 US Marines amid evacuations. Same here. I've watched it all. So I think this is when they were pulling out of Afghanistan, when there was casualties, and a lot of people were angry at Joe Biden for that. He doesn't mention Biden, from what I can remember. Same here. I watched it all with a sense of detachment and at times even bemusement, since everyone has been so surprised over there over the so blatantly obvious. But this stupid fucking war can't come to an end soon enough. These kids are my people. I was looking at the pics of those 1 of 8 kids this morning with big old dips in and unbloused boots, thinking Marine grunts ain't ever gonna change. Maybe it's because I'm older now, but I just feel protective. These guys are the best of us, and we didn't deserve what they are willing to give up. Not after 20 years of this dumb bullshit. This one hurts, man. Did it? Did this one hurt? Did it hurt as much as the fucking Iraqis and Afghans who lost their family, their, brothers and sisters and children? Because I don't really care about how you feel about it, Graham. While I agree with most of this, let's not let military leadership off the hook here. Politicians were too worthless to define actual goals, but partially because military leadership continued to sell them a bill of goods over the course of the war. The battalion commanders, brigade commanders, regional commanders, theatre commanders, and every staff officer that worked in those commands is just as guilty as the political leadership. They kept the lie alive because it was good for their careers and didn't give a single fuck about the kids they sent off to die for something that didn't even have a real plan. They should never be forgiven for their betrayal. So to me, this is a clear-eyed ascertainment of the war, and like, he's not disillusioned, but he's talking about, continue to sell them a bill of goods. So lying about the cause and weapons of mass destruction, because that's where we are with this particular piece. It's just, I'm still not seeing any thought for the true victims of the war on terror, right? A lot of people will say, oh, well, it's a poverty draft, and the latest statistics do not prove that. And more people are not using the military to make their way out of poverty. So, yeah. With his platform on the military, he wants the war. He's a war hawk. When Kamala said we've got the most lethal military in the world, blah blah blah, Graham liked that. Oh yeah, he would have liked it. And today we're looking at pictures of Mamdani in the White House with Trump, and everybody's like, wow, he's so charming. This is amazing. Look, even Donald likes him. I don't think it's a good thing. It is, once again, like, if he's a true enemy of Donald Trump and he was screeching at Tom Homan, right? That's Tom Homan's boss right there that you're standing beside, Mamdani. Do you want to have a go at him? Even if you call him, like, friendly, oh yeah, I do think he's a fascist. No, don't play nice with him. You've got to be on the offensive, yeah, it's all so obviously democratic. It's just, they're just Democrats. They're just Democrats. And what are Democrats? Craps. Ooh. Freudian slip. They are crap. Democrats are controlled opposition. They won't do anything too bad. When they're in power, they're not going to codify Roe. We're not going to put someone else on the Supreme Court. No. We're not going to do Medicare for all. No. Like, where we are today lays in the hands of the Democrats and the Republicans. This is a team sport for them, fucking over the American people. And because of America being a superpower, it means fucking over the rest of us here. Isn't it great? The previous Reddit posts that you just were I was reading through actually were not, well, they were kind of done by a big dumb buffoon. Me. Because big dumb buffoons were all green. And those are the Reddit posts that I thought would be good. And Big Dumb Buffoon's selection was way better. So we're going to go through those, okay? I mean, the ones that I used are fine, but all right. This one says, kills me, LRS is all gone. Best job I had in the army. And yeah, we never called ourselves any type of rangers, despite having a ton of tabs in the deep. Every infantryman. I was reading his spelling of that one, and he did not spell infantry right. Is it infantry? No, it's infantry, right? I feel like I've gone insane because I've said that so many times. People on the internet be fucking crazy. I'm sorry. Look, I probably only have a few Americans who watch this, but damn, if you do not love the heroes, everyone has to love Zoran at the moment. He's the future of the party, even though he's made heaps and heaps of concessions and he keeps keeping on a Zionist police person. Yeah, okay, it's infantry. All right, that's all I want. I have to stop looking at YouTube because I keep responding to dumb people's comments. 100% he'd have gotten clapped fighting in one of the Bush Wars for fun. Yeah. In several 2021 posts that the Platner writes skipped mentioning after his posts about being ashamed of being in the military, he said he still would be a Marine if he could do it. We will go through that post. I think I've slightly saved them out of order there. A Ranger tab means he was in military intelligence. Oh, isn't that interesting? He was in intelligence, lived in DC. It's almost like he's a plant. The 19th Special Forces group is the last thing he was in. Also, at best, was misleading about leaving the military in 2011. Have I got a full copy of this? Is there solid confirmation on what Platner was doing between 2011, after the deployment he got disillusioned by, and 2018? His posts seem to imply he did more than one or even two if he counts the alleged 6-month Constellas job in 2018 tours in Afghanistan. Yeah, that I wonder if he might have an answer to that. This is combat footage, so he liked that subreddit and says 4 tours in the Corps, 2004 to 2008 with the 3/8 company, I think that is. In the Army 2009 to 2013 with this group, that group, with 4 total combat deployments. Kilo 3/8 used Abu Ghraib as a patrol base from January, mid-spring 2005, before we split our time between Camp India in Nasser wa Salam and ITC at Camp Fallujah. We deployed to Ramadi, October 2006. I was 19 when I enlisted in 2004, and for the record, POG is just a respelling of Pogue, which is an old Filipino word picked up by Marines serving in the Pacific in the 20th century. I prefer the original version. I don't know what that is in relation to, but I use both of them. I've got no reason to make anything up. I've had a pretty eventful few years in the infantry. Hey, you spelled it right there. Good work, Graham. Want to get that private school education working for you. Paid a lot of money for it because he's not working class. So, does Abu Ghraib sound familiar to anybody? Sounds familiar to me. I'll tell you that much, right? And anybody who was, well, I think even the normies found out about Abu Ghraib because, those photos are just, like, I can perfectly picture that the one with the hood and the arms out, it lives, in my brain. And so I just wanted to add in here, I went to get the picture of the hooded man or woman from Abu Ghraib, and it was a jarring feeling to see that again. It's probably been 10, 15, maybe 20 years, which is around about how old it is. And seeing it again was it made my stomach turn over. And it just had this really icky sort of feeling that, fuck, that here is torture. Torture is staring us in the face, and we can see that it wasn't just the cruelty of these people, it was policy. That's Dick Cheney's legacy. May he rest in peace. Yeah, it's I think at that time that's what polarized so many people against the Iraq War. For one, we could see that they didn't, like the weapons of mass destruction, didn't make sense. And another thing, everybody in the whole world knew that the Saudis were involved with 9/11, and you're going after Iraq and Afghanistan. And Iraq has oil, and Afghanistan has opium. Interesting. But yeah, that's Graham Platner worked there. Even if he never set foot in the prison, that's what he was defending. So that insurgents wouldn't come and break their people out of there. And nothing ever happened to those people. I mean, I think there were court martials, and you know, the actual people may have been punished, but the ones who gave the orders, Dick Cheney, George W. Bush, because Obama said, let's turn a new leaf. Yeah, it's fucked up, and I was surprised at my reaction. So, yeah, a bit of a trigger warning, but that is what the truth was in that day. And that is what a lot of veterans took part in. And that's why people like myself are looking at Graham Platner saying, I'm a proud combat veteran. I served my country. No, you did war crimes. You did war crimes. Anyway, back to it.